นี่คือซีรีส์รวมพลังร่วมออกแบบครับจะเกิดอะไรขึ้นเมื่อนักออกแบบต้องทำงานร่วมกับเด็กนักเรียนครับโครงการนี้เป็นโครงการที่อยากจะปรับปรุงพื้นที่โรงเรียนในประเทศอังกฤษครับซึ่งโรงเรียนที่เข้าร่วมโครงการจะต้องส่งเด็กนักเรียนในโรงเรียนของตัวเองมาบอกเล่าความต้องการและพัฒนาแบบร่วมกับนักออกแบบครับสิ่งที่น่าสนใจก็คือว่าเด็กนักเรียนเหล่านี้จะทำอย่างไรเพื่อบอกความต้องการของตัวเองจะต้องไปพูดคุยกับเพื่อนเพื่อให้รู้ว่าจริงๆแล้วเพื่อนต้องการอะไรแล้วสรุปมาเพื่อมาคุยกับนักออกแบบนักออกแบบก็ได้ทำงานร่วมกับเด็กนักเรียนครับขั้นตอนทำงานนั้นแบ่งออกเป็น5ขั้นตอนครับขั้นตอนแรกก็คือพูดถึงปัญหาและสรุปความต้องการครับขั้นตอนที่เรียกว่า the challenge จากนั้นเขาจะสรุปความต้องการทั้งหมดออกมาเป็น the brief แล้วก็เป็นการพูดคุยแสดงความคิดเห็นกับนักออกแบบที่เรียกว่า the conversation จากนั้นจะได้แนวคิดหลักหรือ the concept ออกมาแล้วสุดท้ายคือการติดตามผลคือ the follow up ครับแน่นอนครับการตั้งคำถามว่าจะเป็นอย่างไรถ้าเราให้ผู้ที่ใช้สอยพื้นที่จริงๆของโรงเรียนเป็นผู้บอกความต้องการของเขาไม่ใช่เป็นผู้บริหารโรงเรียนไม่ใช่คุณครูหรือไม่ใช่ผู้ใหญ่คนไหนก็ตามแต่ให้เด็กได้บอกเองว่าเขาชอบอะไรอยากได้แบบไหนและนักออกแบบครับก็ต้องมารู้ถึงความเข้าใจความต้องการของเด็กๆที่อยากจะได้เป็นการทำงานซึ่งกันและกันที่ถือว่าน่าสนใจและคงจะแปลกมากสำหรับนักออกแบบนะครับเมื่อลูกค้าหรือเจ้าของโครงการกลายเป็นเด็กนักเรียนความวุ่นวายความโกลาหลความสนุกสนานคงจะเกิดขึ้นอย่างมากมายครับนี่คือซีรีส์ที่น่าสนใจซีรีส์นี้ครับสำหรับในตอนนี้ครับกลุ่มนักเรียนนั้นต้องการพื้นที่ที่เป็นช่วงหยุดพักการเรียนที่เขาจะได้ทั้งเรียนแล้วก็ได้สร้างสรรค์ด้วยครับซึ่งสถาปนิกหรือนักออกแบบนั้นต้องพาเด็กนักเรียนกลุ่มนี้ออกไปยังที่ต่างๆเพื่อหาแรงบันดาลใจร่วมกันครับจากนั้นครับโครงการนี้ก็สำเร็จขึ้นมาแต่เมื่อเด็กต้องเอาโครงการนี้ไปนำเสนอต่อสภาเมืองเพื่อขออนุมัติในการก่อสร้างจะเกิดอะไรขึ้นติดตามได้ในซีรีส์ชุดนี้เลยครับ
What would happen if you put pupils in charge of improving their schools? The Sorrel Foundation's Joined-Up Design for Schools is an initiative that does just that. It explores how good design can improve the quality of life in schools by listening to the voices of the people who use the schools most, the pupils. All over the UK, schools became involved with the project. Pupils became the clients and were put in the driving seat, deciding on what needed improving in their own schools and briefing the designers who were matched with them. This programme will follow the process of joined-up design for schools, the challenge, the brief, the conversation, the concept. In many cases, and in all 6 programmes in this series, there was a 5th stage, the follow-up. The job actually got done. In each participating school, client teams of students were challenged to identify a problem within their school that they would like solved. Mounts Bay is a comprehensive school in Penzance, Cornwall. The 12 to 14-year-old client team wanted an attractive space where they could spend time during school breaks, an inspirational place where they could learn and create, and they wanted to be able to run and manage it themselves. Architect Finn Manassi was assigned to help them. The client team came up with a well-formed and ambitious brief.
We are the Pupil Research Group and we were in charge of collecting information from pupils by producing a questionnaire.
We asked what areas needed improvement and why and how it could be changed. When we asked pupils, a social area and outside learning zone was always wanted because we have nowhere nice to go in any sort of weather.
The students wanted a new social area but were worried pupils wouldn't use it properly, so the materials or furniture would need to be modern, hard-wearing but also comfortable and warm.
I'm a bit of a one for exploring ideas and seeing what emerges rather than necessarily saying we want one of those, and working like we're going to work and finding a solution which is particular and which you had no idea quite what it was going to be like until we work along and we find it in the end.
The client team took Finn round the school to identify possible sites for the new building.
That's like the whole wooded area, but I don't really like the idea of going in the wood because it's
You've
scary.
got a great site, haven't you? What do you call that building?
It's a science block.
Yeah,
That could be
we
quite
chill out on
dangerous.
top of the science block.
The client team was enthusiastic from the very beginning, so Finn found it easy to build up the conversation with them. This interaction between the designer and the client team is at the heart of joined-up design for schools.
Once I'd been asked about the different sites and the scale of the structure, it became clear that what they really wanted was a flexible space where they could do creative assemblies, group study, homework, but most importantly, that they could have a strong relationship to the outdoors. They could even show film in fine weather. And in a way, that was the most complex and romantic part of the project.
For inspiration, Finn took the students to the National Theatre in the South Bank complex in London and to Anthony Gormley's studio.
We've come to London to have a look at spaces in buildings,
to look at the way different spaces are used.
given Finn a brief to build a multi-purpose building which could house ICT and have a big room where we could do performances because we haven't got much at school.
Can you see why we've come to visit this place?
It's sort of a new kind of building because it's sort of a studio as well as a workshop. So it's got two purposes.
This was when the students really began to take ownership of the project.
Stand far back so you can imagine two of those.
Probably up to that bottom of the door.
The result of the collaboration between the client team and Finn is impressive. The Creative Barn, as the students call their final concept, has an internet cafe, a high-ceilinged main space and a second-floor gallery.
Well, basically we just wanted a social area and something that could be like anything. And so we thought up an idea that can be anything really, and we can use it for whatever we like. And it can be an amphitheatre, just a social area for lunch times and break times. And then it's also got IT facilities, and yeah, you can do anything in it.
The client team now had a design concept that responded to their challenge and fitted their brief. Taking ownership of it, they then presented it to the assembled teachers and governors.
We have been given a task to design something that we wanted, instead of something that teachers decide. Enabled us to enjoy something and be able to say, I did this, I made this happen.
Our school has a lot of spaces that aren't really being used, so we thought that we could design a building to be used by the students as well as the teachers.
So we had a big classroom in the middle with two smaller classrooms at the sides. And if we wanted to, the fold-out doors on either ones fold out so we can have a big space for amphitheatres, for drama productions and assemblies. The outdoor classroom, we have a roof over for bad weather, and also it can be pulled back for when it's nice weather because we're all hot in the classrooms, so we feel like we're in an outdoor working space.
In January 2006, the project was greenlit and the client team presented the details of their plan to representatives of Cornwall County Council. And to get a sense of the scale of the building on site, Finn and the client team marked out the plan full size.
We've just done this bit and now we've got to do this bit.
The council responded positively and agreed to match fund the project together with the DFES.
It's interesting now that the students can see the way that the building looks, because you can start to visualise it as soon as you start to mark it out on the grass. And a lot of the students were saying how exciting it was and how interesting it is and how much bigger it is in real life than the little models that they've seen up until now.
Does it look about the right size?
Yeah.
We've learnt about the process used in designing and getting from the design off the paper into real life.
But at the beginning we were unsure whether it was actually going to be built or not because it's quite expensive, but it actually is, which is really good.
It's really exciting to be a part of something this big.
Now that the project's realised, we've got the green light, we're going on site in the summer. It's thrilling, it's a benchmark really, and it's a first for me, it's a first for school, and I think there's going to be more. Not just for me, but for all sorts of schools in all sorts of places.
What did everyone in the project take away with them?
I think throughout the project there's so many things that we've learnt and input into the project, but I'd have to be I think the best one would have to be confidence.
I think I've done something for the school. I feel as if I've made a difference for the school. And I've actually got quite into being, I quite like to be an architect when I'm older.
This project has allowed us to take control of the situation and really use our creative side a lot more.
They now clearly see themselves as people of worth who are going to go out there and do something in the world. And I think that everyone on the project, to a person, has been influenced in this way. And it's just fantastic. It's what we're about in education, what I'm about. It's just wonderful.
I can honestly say they've been the best client I've ever had, and that's irrespective of age. And if all clients were like this, we'd have very different results.
Building is due to commence in July 2006. The client team will be consulted at every stage of the process.
I've learnt to be a lot more positive with my ideas and be a lot more confident with other students and putting my ideas forward for the project.